Hey, WheezyNewsers. How you doing? I have been walking 20,000 steps for a month. Why now? Why am I doing this? Well, I did the 10,000 steps. This is going to be a very beard-forward video, by the way, which is really what every video should be. But we did the 10,000 steps a day video a couple years ago now, and some people were like, that's nothing. I do 20,000, so I'm doing 20,000. And I've done it. I managed to do it every single day for 28 days now. And there's someone looking at me, so I'm going to walk over here because it makes me uncomfortable when people look at me while I'm shooting, while I'm walking, because, I don't know, I'm weak, I guess. But it has been so nice. Like, initially it was so awesome to just get out and walk. Obviously, the biggest issue is time. It takes over 3 hours every time. Over 3 hours of walking. Most days it's great, but the past couple days I've had to do it all or most of it in one big chunk, because I just had other stuff I had to do earlier in the day. And when I do it in one big chunk, then it doesn't feel so great. It's very exhausting. So if I can spread it out throughout the day, it's quite nice. And somehow I've managed to still get everything done that I need to do in a day, even though it takes up so much time, which reminds me of Parkinson's Law, something I've talked about before. I talk about in my newsletter. I do a newsletter every Tuesday. Do you know that? Which is a work expands to fill the time allotted. So when you say you don't have enough time to do something, it's often not true. It's usually just the thing that you don't have time to do is just something you're not making a priority, or you just don't have the energy to do it. You don't want to do it. Maybe, it's obviously true that you might not have time sometimes legitimately, but often if you just repeatedly feel like you don't have time to do a thing, it probably means something more than just you don't have time to do a thing. But also, if you give something a lot of time, you're gonna, I at least tend to spend that time. If I say, well, this thing is due at this time, I'm gonna work on it all right up till it's due. Even though, a lot of that work involves waffling, not indecision, trying to decide, should I do this? Is this better? Is this better? Or distraction, just going to, let's see if I can wipe the screen. Get rid of that glare. There we go. Go to Twitter for distraction. Just work too hard on certain aspects that don't really matter. But now that I've taken 3 hours out of my day, I've still been able to do the same things, which really shows me how much time I must waste, or I'm just being inefficient. But also, if optimum efficiency all the time is stressful. So I'm not saying everyone has to be optimally efficient, they're utmost efficient at all times, because it's not a great way to live your life either. But the times being able to fill my day with walking is not a net negative. It's not like I'm taking away from other things. The walking itself is great. I feel so good when I walk. Even if I'm sitting down at home and I don't feel like moving at all, walking seems like the last thing I want to do. I get up, I walk, my heart starts pumping, I feel good. I think every time, unless the only times I don't feel good, I guess, is if I had just walked 10,000 steps and then I have to walk more because I said I was going to do 20,000. So if I'm doing it all in one big chunk, that's the only time it doesn't really feel good. But if I have been pretty sedentary for a lot of the day, get up, start walking, feels great. This is a long unedited babble video, by the way. I used to do these every Monday. If you're new to the channel, this is probably, you might be a little like, okay, this is slow. Sorry, that's just who I am when I'm unedited. I noticed things I noticed from walking. I feel like it gives me more energy, even though I am spending a lot of energy. I don't feel like I don't have the afternoon crashes that I sometimes get. I don't get that as much. At night I get really tired, and falling asleep has never really been a big problem for me. It's always the waking up in the middle of the night. That's still the case. I still wake up in the middle of the night. But the wake ups in the middle of the night, I feel like I fall back asleep easier. And I definitely my initial falling asleep is very quick. Now, I get so tired in the evenings from all the walking. But the biggest benefit right now for me is because I am concerning myself with weight loss. I started at 178 pounds, and now I'm at, weighing myself every morning the same way, 171.6 this morning. So I have, after going like months without losing any weight, like I've lost a bunch of weight. It's not that talking about weight loss is tricky because there's always lots of different factors involved with weight loss. And it's also not even, I'm not saying it's necessary for you. Always a good thing. But so the first couple days of walking, I didn't feel like I wasn't losing weight, but I also wasn't paying attention to my calories and what I was eating. So if you start walking a lot, if you don't pay attention, you might just naturally just start eating more. So to compensate, and then that's not going to really do anything as far as weight loss goes. Not that it won't be good for you in other ways, but the weight loss itself probably requires you to pay attention to how much you're eating and what you're eating. That's always the case. Like diet, calories in, calories burned, and the types of foods you're eating and everything. It's always the biggest factor when it comes to weight loss. But walking all this extra makes it a lot easier, especially when I'm not drinking alcohol. It's so, I can eat more. I can eat all the things I want to eat and still be a net negative as far as, or calorie deficit. So that's, as soon as I started paying attention to that, I've now lost nearly 6.5 pounds. And it's just easy. Like when I ran, I haven't been running lately. My knee has been kind of bothering me. It doesn't bother me while I'm walking. But when I ran, I get more ravenously hungry. Like you still burn calories the same, like as far as distance walked, it's kind of the same, I believe, as far as how many calories. It's just walking that distance takes longer. But when you run, at least when I run, I get ravenously hungry and I'll end up eating more. It's harder to maintain a calorie deficit with running for me. But walking is kind of easy. It's like, it feels like cheating, except it's not, because I'm sacrificing many hours in a day to do it. Even though the walking itself is also awesome. Point is, walking's pretty awesome, and I wish we all had the time and the ability to do it every day. And if you think you might, you should probably give it a try, because it's pretty great. In other news, I'm currently working on a video. The next video on the main channel is going to be the one that just went up. Is China and I talking as if talking using the small talk method, the Ford method, FORD, family, occupation, recreation, dreams. We sat down, we had a long discussion, and that edited video is up on the main channel as the newest video right now. The next video that I'm working on now is China and I quitting our smartphones for a month, but it was kind of. I mean, I guess, I don't know what I'll end up titling it, maybe something like that. But basically, we took our smartphones and made them dumb phones. Like, we got rid of all of the time suck on the phones. Kept keeping the essentials that don't really invade our lives, make our lives worse, like maps and stuff. We didn't like just buy dumb phones and use those only, because there are certain things on our phones that we just need. Like, for instance, this camera I'm using, or my workout app, or maps, and a calorie tracker helps. Like, those things don't hurt my life. So we didn't like go so extreme that we got a dumb phone, even though some people do that and it makes their lives better. We didn't want to go that extreme because we want to try to sustain this. Like this whole year we've been doing videos, challenges that are more sustainable. Like, we quit caffeine, but we quit coffee, but we didn't quit all caffeine this time. Like, I could still eat chocolate, I could still drink decaf, and I'm still maintaining drinking much less caffeine than I did before. Whereas last time when we quit all caffeine, I just kind of went right back to my habits. And then we did, what was another challenge we did that wasn't so extreme? I can't remember. But we did the smartphone thing. And we did that a few months ago, and it's still, like, I still use Twitter a whole lot less. I use my phone a whole lot less, and it's really good. So that's the video I'm working on right now. That'll be the next one going up on the channel. And then another one about working out. I think it'll be like day 550 or so of since I started actually working out in earnest. That'll be another video coming up. And walking 20,000 steps a day, another video coming up. My watch is asking me if I'm doing an outdoor walk, and it wants to record it. Okay, so much technology all around me all the time. It's disgusting. And a podcast. Doing a podcast with my friend Greg Benson, Mediocre Films. We've done 10 episodes. They come out every Sunday. This is the most consistent podcast I've ever done. Like, I'm actually continuing to update it. Mostly because Greg keeps me on task. And that, I'll put a link to that podcast. I think I'm going to show you a clip of that podcast right now.
Question number 1.
Okay.
Do you like lettuce?
It's pretty good.
Question number 2, and you may have already answered this, but question number 2 is, do you think lettuce is pretty good? Question 3, lettuce, pretty good, right?
Yeah, it's I mean, I've had better, but it's pretty good.
Might start putting some full episodes, or maybe just more clips from that podcast up right here on this channel, because this WheezyNews channel was always meant to be just a grab bag of whatever kind of stuff I want to put on the internet, that I don't want to just put on the main channel. So in the coming days and such, there's a bunny. In the coming days, you may see some podcast action, video style. And got that newsletter. I'm doing it every Tuesday. also been consistently doing that. I'm on like the 16th one or so, 17th. If you want to subscribe to that, people seem to like it more than I expected, actually. And what else is going on? I think that's it for now. I hope everything's good with you, and I never know how to end WheezyNews videos. How about you hang out in my beard for a little while?